There we go. So Peter, we worked together in the autumn in the Enlivening Edge participatory action research community, where you were part of a co-inquiry group working on how to build organizations in a more liberating and sustainable fashion. And from that experience, what did you take away with you, and what are your ideas about how to build on that in going forward?
Well, apart from quitting my job, changing the fundamental way I relate to people, and spending 6 months in the wilderness of trying to re-understand most of the world, yes, a few small things changed. One of the things that I found really interesting about the action research process was how that shared continuous learning environment shifted the way in which I approached, so much of my work. And I've spent a lot of time as a sort of software architect and running a software team before, and have invested a good bit of time exploring how we learn as a group, how a team can learn together. And one of the real interesting takeaways I got from the action research group was that although we're learning individually and all supporting each other at learning, developing as people, but we were also at the same time sharing the things we had learned. And I realized that this practice of always learning, and it's not just saying I'm learning, but really being explicit, saying I want to learn this thing, and then recording your learnings and your questions and writing each day about the thing that you are learning was very powerful. It meant that I might be learning and I might be exploring a question, but the rest of the people around me that I shared this work with too, they could learn it with me. And it also gave me a way to remember. And so I've been thinking a lot about how the basic practice of action research, of expressing something you're trying to learn, recording your assumptions, recording your questions, recording your failures, and then sharing as best an answer as possible, is a way for a group of people perhaps working together in a team to establish a shared memory, to build on a way of saying that, we've tried this before, this didn't work, but this did work. And looking at agile software practices and all I've learned from that, it's how do you get a group of people who might be working to solve similar problems to start solving those problems faster and faster? And how do you use an action research process to build up a collective memory, and develop a group discernment and an aesthetic that says, we've learned together these ways of working work best. They may be different experiences in other groups, but from our history together, this group has learned these things. And perhaps if we built a business together, or we have already got some clients we're working with, this is what they expect, and this is how we have learned to maximize our benefit to our clients or to whoever we're serving. It isn't a fixed set of rules. Let's say it's not that franchise 3-ring binder that says, when you cook the burger, it must be cooked exactly like this, and you flip the bun exactly like this. It's more a set of things that say, here's the pattern. We've tried this. This is working. It allows anyone to feed into that and evolve that pattern, but it's an active process of a group of people remembering, and perhaps removing the hierarchy of memory and time. We have all these hierarchies within our organizations, and one of them is who's been there the longest. Who's the one who says, within this group, we do it like this. This is the way it's always been done, is a very debilitating hierarchy for many, many people. And if we can say, well, yes, we do this now, this way, and here is the learning we've got that got us to this point, it allows people to question why you work in a certain way. And it's one more step to democratizing the workplace and removing another kind of hierarchy from the system. And there are always many hidden hierarchies. And I think memory and time is one that we have to, yes, be aware of, that things emerge, but if we're going to keep that emergent practice happening and we keep on allowing new things to emerge rather than it solidifying and becoming fixed into a set of rules, then it's very important that the entire process of learning is embedded within the practices of a group. And action research, for me, and my questions are around, how can I get a group of people to establish a basic discipline? Because it is this practice, this discipline that says, let's make sure that every week we are doing this. And every day, how do we test each other to say, have you recorded your learnings? Have you recorded your questions? How do we move forward in this way so that it can become second nature, and that bit by bit it becomes something we don't think about. We just are always writing, remembering, sharing our learnings so that, well, eventually we can replace ourselves and someone can continue the journey with what we have learned, but we don't have to always be doing the same thing. Anyway, so because that's part of the process of removing the hierarchy of time, is that I want to do something else. I don't want to be the only one who knows how to do that thing, but I do want to know that my work and my time and investment continues and isn't lost the moment I step out of a system. So what's the best way to democratize my own experience and my learning and share that with a team?
Wonderful. That's very rich amount of questions and ideas, and really something I think could be worthwhile exploring in the context of a collaborative inquiry, a collab, going further, how to build up this shared memory and practice of continuous learning that is really supporting sustainability in organizations and in solving the bigger questions of our time.